Hello, everybody, and welcome to Closing Out the Week with the Closers Podcast. Today is, this is going to be on Friday, so I believe that's going to be the 24th. So you're listening to this on the 24th, and we have a very special guest on today for Closing Out the Week. But before we get into that, I just have to say, like always, please follow us on Instagram at the Closers Podcast, on Facebook at Closers Podcast, and we have a YouTube channel in which you can watch a replay of the Dungeons and Dragons / Hot Ones Challenge live stream that we did this past Saturday. That is why there is no normal episode for this week, because that is considered the episode for this week. There's no audio for it just because it's a very visual type of thing. You have to kind of see everybody dying because of the heat of the hot wings. It doesn't do it justice just listening to it. This is why I didn't post any audio for this week. So go and watch that episode 19 of the podcast. It's a live stream. It's on our YouTube channel, and hope you enjoy that. So without any further ado, we got Mr. Number One episode himself, Mr. 10-time guest at this point, I'm pretty sure. Well, soon to be 10. Probably this is your 9th time probably being on, but we recorded a podcast that will be up in the future. My man, the Moondog, Quinn Kalani. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. So what are you this is a monumental moment, I would say. You're on the precipice of a new life, a new chapter in your life. Is that correct?
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. So what's going on? What's changing?
Well, anyone who's listened to past episodes knew that that I was leaving California.
Yes.
And I was embarking on an adventure of sorts to the University of Hawaii, and that adventure starts in like T-minus 18 hours.
Yeah. You depart from California at 5 a.m.
But first we had to stop at Mission Control.
Exactly. And there's a lot of things that Quinn and I could talk about, and we are literally unprepared for this because we just haven't thought about anything. I asked Quinn yesterday. I was like, "Hey, you should come on. It's your last day in California before you move. Let's talk about shit." So let's just talk about shit. I've known Quinn for the past about 3 years. Yeah, 2016 is when I came back from San Francisco and started working at the store, and that's how him and I met. And many things have changed throughout our time, and we have a lot of different funny stories that we could discuss. But the one that sticks out the most to me, and I know I'm sounding like I'm building up to a sentimental moment, but this is really not sentimental at all. The time that a customer threatened to have her son kick your ass.
That sucked. And it was so ridiculously uncalled for.
What happened? Because I wasn't there. I just heard I just heard everything that happened.
Well, there had been some false 100s that have leaked through at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And just to let everyone know that we work in retail.
Yeah.
And we're like a small unit. We're like a team of 6.
Yes.
And we manage and run an entire store. No longer me.
Yeah.
I've actually been, about a week and a half removed.
Yes.
But at the at this particular time, some fake money had slipped through. So we were advised to not accept 100s of that were old, which at the time were green. New 100s were coming out; those were blue.
Yes.
And this lady came in, and she had only gotten a fax, and a fax is $2. And she gave me $100 bill, which is suspect, and it was an old 100. And so I went to say, no, we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
And then we were going back and forth, and I was kind of letting the moment intimidate me, and I should have just been like, no, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
And so who was it that I was working with? It might have been...
Was it Joey?
No, it might have been Jose.
Oh, yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Which, if it was Jose, then know that I was left alone in a foxhole to die. Whoever it was...
No backup.
Whoever it was that worked with me was like, what's the problem? And she explained it to my coworker, and my coworker said, no, we can take the 100. And then some words were said back and forth, and she said, she's like, you're lucky I don't get my son in here to kick your ass. And
you were like, okay, whatever. What was your response to that?
I just wanted to die. I feel like so many people in retail just probably experience the same thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I experienced a similar thing with the 1 time I want a refund, 2 time I want refund, 3 time that. Now you were there for that,
so you're not gonna give me a refund.
So, yeah, that. So it was around Christmas time.
You've probably gotten the worst customers.
Dude. People don't like me at all. Like, nobody really likes me at the customer wise. Only the mailbox holders that have like seen me around for a long time. They like me. But like, just everyday customers think that I just I'm the most like
fuck boy.
Yeah, I'm the biggest fuck boy of all time. But yeah, so this dude comes in, right, and like a day before talks to our graphic designer at the time. We have a new one, Anthony, who was on the podcast before. He's the graphic designer, but prior to him, there was another person, and that graphic designer at the time did some flyers for this like street like food vendor guy who wanted flyers made up. So he made them up, but he messed them up in printing. Like, they were oriented wrong, and it was just like they looked really bad. And the graphic designer doesn't work on weekends, so me and Quinn were there on a Saturday during Christmas time, so we were super busy already. After closing. And this guy comes in to pick up his stuff. And he looks at him, who's like, no, hell no. Oh, hell no. This is all messed up right here, all this stuff. And Quinn was dealing with some other customers, and I was helping this guy out. And I was like, well, I don't know really what I can do for you. Like, we're closed. I can't edit this file. Like, the graphic designer will be here on Monday. You could talk to him. He was like, no, I want a refund. I want a refund right now. I was like, I can't give you a refund right now, unfortunately, just because, like, I'm not saying you can't get one at all. I'm just saying, like, at the moment, it's not really possible. He's like, no, that's bullshit. And he started going off on me. And so, like, I had to call the owner of the store and had to ask him, like, if it was okay to give him a refund. And he was just like, okay. So I gave him a refund. But, yeah, during the whole time I was on the phone, he was just from the, like, I went to the back to talk to him, or to talk to the owner. And called him, and the customer from the front of the store is just yelling, 1 time I want a refund, 2 time I want a refund, 3 time I want a refund. Just like the most obnoxious thing of all time. And like, I gave him a refund, told him to get out of here. He left. The graphic designer helped him. But it's just like stuff like that happens pretty frequently, especially to me. But I remember another funny instance with you, Quinn, was when man, all the ones I'm thinking about.
We had one quite recently. The lady that was at the copier that I startled.
Oh yeah, that was like right before you quit. That was like 2 days before.
This lady comes in, an elderly lady, and she's tripping on allergy medicine. She openly tells me that. She's like, I think I took too much allergy medicine. She's shaking. She's got like, the sweats. And, I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I offered her, I'm not going to say I offered her a cup of water. I don't know if I did or not. But,
yeah, I don't remember that.
So she was like, I need to do some copies or whatever. So I'm like, all right, well, do you want to do self-service or do you want us to do it? We were pretty busy at the time.
Yeah.
So she opted to do the self-service option. And, I gave her the card. She went over to the copier. She started doing it. And she also had, like, sent the email, but it never came through.
And she had packages to, like, drop off.
Yeah.
She had a lot of stuff.
And so, you know, I was helping multiple customers at once. I managed to check the email. And I walk over to let her know. And I was like, excuse me. And she was like, whoa! And just, like, hands in the air, like, left backwards. And I was like, whoa.
She got so scared.
Everybody started dying laughing.
Except
for me. But, you know, up to this point, like, she's
even
kind
other
of she's kind of
customers.
acting a fool.
Even
up to
other
this
customers
point.
were laughing.
Like, she's also been in the corner up to this time, kind of, like, talking to herself out loud.
For, like, 40 minutes.
She's been tripping.
Yeah.
You know. I was hoping that maybe the heat would just take it out of her. But she was, you know, in the corner tripping. Whatever.
Yeah.
And so she just loses it. Everybody starts laughing at her, except for me, because I'm just annoyed. And then she turns it on me, and she's like, how dare you laugh at a disabled person? I hear you. And I was like, what? And I know where this is going. I've been down this road too many times. And so I was like, I'm just going to walk back behind the counter. And then she's like, what is your name? I told her my full name. And then she left.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And then in the store, there was someone who was actually disabled.
Yeah, there was.
In a wheelchair who was dying laughing at this moment.
Yeah, we had some pretty real customers in there at the time.
And it was ridiculous.
It was pretty funny because, like, that lady in the wheelchair was in there, and then the customer I was helping had, like, a drop-off. And, like, when she yelled, I started laughing instantly.
Yeah.
The customer I was helping started laughing instantly, and his son, who was, like, 6, like, cracked
Lady in the
up.
wheelchair started laughing.
Yeah, like, everyone started dying in the store, except for Quinn, and Quinn was the one who got blamed.
I was the only one who maintained professionalism.
Yeah. No, I couldn't help it.
And I was crucified for it. Crucified.
That's like the story of your life.
Another sacrifice on the altar of retail. If there's one, and if I could say one thing about retail,
yes,
possibly the worst thing.
Please say it.
Are the people who come in at 7:59.
Oh yeah,
and 7:58, like right before close. And I'm not talking about the people who do that and just like, I need to get this done. Whatever. It's the people who come in and they're like, sorry, I know you're about to close, but
I need 3 notaries.
Yeah. When you try to apologize for it, that's what makes it the worst.
Because if you were really sorry, you would have seen, okay, they're about to close. I'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not really sorry. You're a liar.
The worst. You're the worst kind of people.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. If they're about to close, with me, my rule is 15 minutes. If they're about to close within 15 minutes, I don't go into the store. Unless it's like a really quick, like, I just need to grab this, like, for our store that we worked at, like, I just need to grab tape, and that's it. Like, something quick. But if it's like a super big service, something that takes a long time, no, I'll deal with it. It's my fault for getting there late. These people don't deserve to wait on me. They don't get paid enough for that bullshit.
But I will miss the camaraderie of the store.
Yeah, everybody.
Though none of you showed up to my going away dinner,
except for me.
I will miss the camaraderie nonetheless.
Everybody there, everyone that works there now has been on the podcast at least once. So we got Joey.
But not twice.
Yeah, not twice. Joey, Irwin. Irwin was on twice. Actually 3 times, I think. Joey, Irwin, Victor, Jose, Anthony, and then Quinn. Aaron, AA, Alvis. He was on. He was the manager there for a while, and then it's pretty interesting to see everyone. Honestly, if it wasn't for that store, the podcast wouldn't be what it is today. And honestly, if it wasn't for you, Quinn, this podcast wouldn't have happened. So, you are a vital and pivotal role. You played a pivotal role in the formation of this podcast, and you will continue to be even when you go to Hawaii. And we'll talk about that in the coming months. But will you miss the peak seasons, the holiday rushes?
I'll miss the camaraderie. It was cool that we were a small group, and that, like, I don't know, when I think of my time here, I shall think of that.
The you period? Oh.
Yeah, I shall think. I shall think of everyone that I worked with at Store 1040.
Yep.
And those times.
Yeah. What are you looking
and other things, but
Oh yeah, of course.
But that's where I spent most of my time.
What are you looking to gain out in Hawaii when you go out there?
A degree.
Well, yeah, aside from that, like within yourself, what are you looking to gain?
Just I guess a sense of cultural identity. And it's kind of like a test, back in old Viking days,
Yeah.
young men would have to go and prove themselves, or something gangster like that. I'm not, I'm not like going out and like slapping lions on the asses and running
yeah.
from them, or sailing across the ocean. But
yeah,
I'm doing something, and I just hope to prove myself by the end of it.
I think you will.
That I'm, worthy of things.
Because the thing is, I feel like those years you're going to spend in Hawaii are going to go by so fast. I really do. Does it feel like it's...
That would be kind of a bummer.
Does it feel... But, I mean, that could be a good thing. Like, so fast because you did so much, you know? Like, do you feel like these years spent in Sacramento have gone by quickly? Do you... Looking back on... Reflecting on the years... Because you're here for about 3 years.
It kind of feels like I was here for like 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, my time was spent here working, and when I wasn't working, I was at school.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I pretty much had, there was pretty much 2 phases in my life, work and school.
Yeah.
So when you get stuck in like a routine of things and a rut,
yeah,
time tends to move slow.
Mm-hmm.
And then in hindsight, you're like, wow, time really did go by kind of quick.
Yeah.
So like tomorrow, if you were to ask me, I'd probably say it went by kind of fast. But right now, it feels like everything is going kind of slow.
Yeah.
I have a very love-hate relationship with California.
As do most people, I feel like, that live here.
Yeah. I was born here. I'm a native Californian.
Yeah.
A native Northern Californian. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
There's so many things I hate about California, though. But
like Southern California?
No. Just ridiculous things that make no sense to anyone. But that's neither here nor there.
I mean, when does your school start? When's your first day?
Next week, next Monday.
Oh, damn. The 26th?
Is the first day of classes.
And when are you able to move in?
Tomorrow.
So you're going to go straight from the airport, Uber over to...
Uber. Maybe I'll just stroll along the beach. Maybe I don't know what I'll do.
How long is that flight?
It's like 5 hours.
5 hours?
But, you're going back in time.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really like it's a 2... Time travel. It's like a 2-hour flight.
Yeah.
But
Dang.
in total, the trip is 2 hours if you look at a clock.
Yeah.
But in physical distance, it is like a 5-hour flight, which is crazy to think about.
That is true.
Think about it. Changing your past doesn't change your future.
Don't think about it, be about it.
How could things be good when they're Spencer Gray?
Oh, yeah. I just got to quickly shout out my boy Spencer, who I'm trying to get on the podcast at some point. He was an coworker of ours who just had a baby with his girlfriend. Brinley is the baby's name, I believe. And Congratulations to Spencer,
Congratulations to Spencer.
because he's going to be a great Papa Spence, and we're excited to see
The Galt boy.
the Galt boys
The
now.
Galt man.
The Galt the Galt dad.
Papa Galt.
Papa Galt. Yeah, dude.
That sounds like a fizzy drink.
That is Papa Galt. It's like I feel like it's like a knockoff Dr. Pepper.
Why don't you pop a Papa Galt?
Like, you know how there's like Dr. Dynamite and like all those fucking knockoff Dr. Pepper ones?
Papa Galt.
The Papa Galt. Yeah. I've never been to Hawaii, but I really do want to go out there. It's just crazy, man. Like, everyone's kind of going and doing their own thing. Like, I'm about to go to Sweden.
Well, now you have a reason.
Yeah.
Flights are actually cheaper now than ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of Southwest?
That and other things. Like, my one-way trip is like $350.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. That's still kind of expensive, honestly.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, you're flying 4,000. Not 4,000. You're flying halfway across the ocean.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. What are you planning on, like, do you have anything in mind that you want to kind of get into while you're over there? Like, aside from film, because that's obviously your major. Are you going to train with...
No. I don't know, man. I'd like to get in... I have a few goals set up. I'd like to get into the best physical shape I possibly could.
Uh-huh.
That's just one goal.
Right.
Amongst many other ones.
Yeah.
But now that I'm on the eve...
Yeah.
You know, on the event horizon,
mm-hmm.
I'm kind of just like... My mind is just a empty void. It's like this wall here.
Oh. Yeah.
And then, like, tomorrow is like Genesis 1. Verse 1.
What have you seen? How have you, like, felt yourself change in these past 3 years that you've been in Sacramento? What's, like, been the one thing that kind of leaps out to you?
That's a super difficult question. But you know what I'll say is that maybe it's just me, but it's almost like maybe it's because I've moved around. So my life is broken up into geological segments.
Mm-hmm.
Each place almost just feels like a new life almost.
Oh.
And it's just like, I remember when I was there. And like, I can reflect on things I thought, decisions I made.
Yeah.
Some of it I'm like, geez, what a jackass. And some of it I'm like, I understood what I did. That was a smart decision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And each time it's different. So, reflecting on my time in California.
Yeah.
My time at work brought me just great friendships, and my time at school brought me into relationships with people of like-minded interests and passions that would challenge my own perspective on things such as art and media and you know, morality. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It was a mixed bag, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's always good and bad, so it makes sense.
I mean, this is the first time I've ever had Jamba Juice.
Really?
Yeah.
You like it?
It's alright.
Well, switching gears a little bit, just because we don't want to keep hammering home the same thing. He's going to Hawaii. Will he be on the podcast again? Yes. Will he never come back to California? No, he'll be back at some point. But I want to switch because you've seen a lot of movies this year, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your top 3 at the moment? There's one obvious choice. You referenced it earlier.
All right, I will go in descending order.
Okay.
I'll do 3.
Okay.
Tied at number 3.
Yeah.
Is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Ooh.
And Spider-Man Far From Home.
Ah. nice.
Number 2
Both good movies.
is Midsummer. Or Midsommar. And then number 1 is obviously Avengers Endgame.
Yes. And what we saw Midsummer together, and haven't talked about this on the podcast yet, but what did you think of that movie? Because I personally,
I thought it was hilarious.
oh yeah,
I thought it was
super
hilarious.
funny. It's a funny movie. It's a comedy.
Yeah, it was great. There were there were parts where, I was like, ooh. Some parts where you feel that like softball in your stomach kind of feeling. The
anxiety kind of
the anxiety brought on by, paranoia and suspicion and fear. Paranoia, suspicion, the same thing, but
and just disgust too.
Yeah.
Like there's one part that you and I just were dying laughing, and it's kind of a fucked up part, but it's so uncomfortable. All you can do is just laugh because there's nothing else. Like, you're not really invested enough in the character to cry about the character. So what else are you gonna do other than just like be stone faced watching this thing? Because that's weirder than like reacting. I don't want to like give the part away for anybody who hasn't seen the movie, but there's one specific part at the kind of like the end of the movie.
In the final act.
In the final act, where you're just laughing because it's just so ridiculous, but at the same time,
go into it with an open mind.
Yeah,
and maybe go into it on some psychedelics.
It has a really crazy cold open though.
Yeah,
like that cold open is intense as fuck.
Yeah, so that was my second, probably number 2.
And then let's talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because I haven't talked about that yet. I was going to talk about that movie this week, but figured since you're going to be on, I'll talk about it with you. What did you think about that movie?
I enjoyed it. Honestly. It was long. I'll say that. It was long.
What would you say to people who are kind of like, there was no plot, nothing went anywhere, like there was no progression?
No, I wouldn't say that.
There's no progression in the characters.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Margot Robbie's performance didn't matter in the end. That she didn't serve a purpose in the movie. Like all these, I've seen all these critiques.
I kind of disagree with that. I mean,
all right. Well,
the central. If the main protagonist is Leonardo DiCaprio, right?
Yes.
I think everybody would agree with that. So his is the central arc, right?
Yes.
So everything else is kind of revolving around that in some capacity or another, right? So build out of that central arc.
Mm-hmm.
Where does Leo begin, and where does he end? Is his character different in the ending than the beginning?
Yes.
Okay, so there is an arc, therefore there is a plot. There is a narrative change from point A to point B.
Got it. But this is an argument that because I agree with you, but the counter argument to that would be that, what's his name?
I think some people, it's not traditional storytelling.
Yeah, it's not.
And I think that throws some people off. I don't know when it'll be released, but we'll have a conversation soon, and I'll reference visual alcohol.
Oh yeah,
it's the most common sort of narrative.
Yeah,
in any sort of medium. And, except for maybe music, but
yeah.
Any sort of visual medium. And so when you're given fast food all the time, sometimes you don't always appreciate. A filet mignon or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There are different ways to cook a steak.
I just feel like in that movie though, Brad Pitt got a lot of airtime, or not airtime, but screen time with Leo not on the screen. Like for a majority of the movie, they're kind of doing their own thing. So it's like, I feel like they're co-leads, but like
Brad Pitt's arc is very similar to the dudes in Lebowski. It's just staying true to who you are within the chaos of someone of a bigger plot.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's ultimately that's the triumph of the character, self-identity.
Yeah.
And how important that is.
And then I think that Margot Robbie actually did serve a really big purpose in the movie because not only
she's a fulcrum point.
yeah.
So, the plot hinges on her. So if someone was to say her character's a plot device, yes, she is.
Yeah.
She's a very important plot device.
Yeah.
All characters are plot devices to a certain extent or another. Some are, cloaked in exposition. Some are, fast-tracked on an action sequence.
I just feel like with her, she didn't really serve a whole purpose of, like, she didn't interact with Leonardo DiCaprio's character or Brad Pitt's at all. But the whole point of the movie is to show how, she shouldn't have died. That's like the whole purpose is to show that, okay, these murders were unjustified and horrific. So just like with Inglourious Bastards, the people who you've wanted to, be brought to justice were brought to justice in a very inhumane way. Yes, but they were.
Who's complaining? I mean,
well, I just see like written critiques online. It was like Margot Robbie was a very overqualified casting to play. Blah, 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 just shit like that. Because she had very little dialogue and, like, her scenes didn't really tie into the main plot at all.
There's challenges within that for an actor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like wearing, I mean, I've never acted in anything except for, like, a church musical play. But, I would imagine that, that there come challenges in one's craft that involve you taking a supporting role. A lineman is just important as a quarterback.
Lead. Yeah, that's true. And then we got Spider-Man Far From Home, which I did a whole entire
the best Spider-Man of all time.
Why is it the best Spider-Man?
The best Spider-Man, best movie, and the best Spider-Man, Tom Holland. The best Spider-Man in the history of film.
Thank you, brother. So why is it the best Spider-Man movie of all time?
Well, let's look at it a bigger thing.
Okay.
If it's a chapter in a bigger story.
Yes.
But let's look at it just as in the Spider-Man trilogy, Homecoming and Far From Home.
Okay.
These movies are so strictly and purely Peter Parker.
Yes.
Why did Batman Begins work? Because it's a story about Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
That is exactly why these ones work. Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, and Spider-Man 1 is all about Norman Osborn, Otto Octavius. And then Spider-Man 3 is probably, honestly, mostly about the one most about Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And it's the worst one. Because instead of having one villain, it's split off into, well, if you look at it like a pie, we also got Eddie Brock and, the Sandman.
Yeah, and then Harry Osborn as, New Goblin and all this shit.
But, I mean, look at Mysterio's screen time relative to Spider-Man, and look at Spider-Man's screen time relative to Peter Parker's.
Yeah. Or even Michael Keaton's screen time.
Yeah. These movies are about Peter Parker. That's why he's the best.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's the youngest, and he's the only one that does a New York accent.
Yep, that's true. That's true. What?
In fact, they're so good they convinced J. Jonah Jameson to come back.
It's true. What did you like about the movie specifically? Like, why is it your favorite Spider-Man movie?
If you look at it in like the hero's journey, it's the son's reconciliation with the father.
Yeah.
And this is Luke Skywalker. This is Darth Vader dying in Luke Skywalker's arms, supposedly.
Yeah.
This is Peter Parker being able to finally bury Tony Stark.
Yeah.
To move on out of the shadow of Iron Man. Reconciliation of the father.
And it's important that they did that to end Phase 3 because
Spider-Man's going to be the face of
the next
forward.
And you can't have that drag on. Like him getting over it and you can't, because if you waited till like beginning of Phase 4 or like another year, it's just like, okay, like the remnants of Endgame,
Yeah. And I love the first two Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. Marco will tell you, I love them. I stand by them. I defend them. I love them.
Yeah.
but they don't hold a candle to Far From Home and Homecoming.
I agree.
They just don't.
And then with Endgame, obviously, it's obvious as to why it's your number one. I mean, we spoke about this on a previous podcast when we previewed the Phase 4 and stuff, but
it's the greatest cinematic event in history.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Insane. It was like our Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, it's true.
In 50 years, when they're making like their version of Stranger Things, it will be about this time period.
Yeah. Oh God. All the I just can see
all the technology.
Yeah, but like people on TikTok and shit, and like all the things they're gonna reference. Ugh, God, Jesus Christ. Let me think. So really quick, we're running a little bit out of time. Got about 5 minutes. So, what do you want to see in Phase 4? What are you looking to see?
I think Thor: Love and Thunder is gonna be righteous.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness is going to be righteous.
I predicted it. I got it.
I think Shang-Chi is also going to be righteous.
You think so?
Yes.
A lot of people are shitting on that movie already.
A lot of people are lame. And I don't even remember everything else that was announced. Everything in Phase 4 is going to be sick.
Black Widow.
Yeah. Everything in Phase 4 is going to be sick. I'm interested to see if they announce anything at D23 for Phase 5. Hopefully something.
What do you think about that Blade movie, which apparently is not going to be part of the MCU?
No, it's part of the MCU.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. It better fucking be. God. Because somebody told me, it's not going to be part of it.
He was on
like,
stage
what?
with Kevin Feige and the rest of the Avengers.
What?
He was on stage with the Avengers. And in the comics, Blade is an Avenger right now.
He is?
Yeah.
No.
Always, the comics will tell you everything that's about to happen.
That's going to be crazy, dude.
Phase 5, I don't know, it'd be cool to see the introduction of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
The introduction of mutants, not necessarily the X-Men, but mutants. And something to do with the Hulk, man. Give the Hulk his proper due.
Yeah. I know he's your favorite, so you want to see something happen with him. Did you see Wesley Snipes got all mad because he wasn't chosen to reprise his role as Blade?
Get over it. Come on, dude. Get real. Get over yourself.
Yeah, get over yourself.
Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's such a great time, man.
Yeah.
It's such a great time in media and in general.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Sports.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that real quick.
Yeah, let's hit some sports real quick.
Yeah. Your man.
The King, boy. The NorCal King, dude.
Yeah.
The soul of Stockton himself.
Yep.
Nathan Diaz. The pound-for-pound GOAT. The reigning
GOAT.
The reigning, defending, baddest motherfucker in the world title holder. The West Coast gangster.
He's so badass. He doesn't need a belt.
Coming off 3 years. A 3-year layoff. And beating a former champion, former future Hall of Famer, Anthony Pettis. Unanimous decision. All 3 rounds, pillar or post. The sport is better with the Diaz brothers in it.
I agree.
Life is better with the Diaz brothers in it.
And you think the Masvidal, is that his name?
That's who Nate called out after the fight. Called out Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, and do you think that fight's gonna happen?
If it does, man, then it is what it is. We'll send, as soldiers in the Nick Diaz army, as myself is, and you are, and
yeah,
all who live in this valley,
yeah,
are. Well, we're there. We'll send our mana, send our power to Nate.
Oh yeah, I hope that they fight soon. I hope it happens in like December or something. That'd
like when Goku has to charge up a spirit bomb, he's like, "Lend me your energy." We'll send all our ki.
Yeah, I hope it happens soon. I can't believe it's almost been a year. I was thinking about this last night. It's almost been a year since that Khabib and Conor fight, and they haven't fought since. Neither of them have fought since, right?
Khabib's fighting in like 3 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's he fighting?
Dustin Poirier.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. The Diamond. Right? That's his name.
Yeah, the Diamond. How do you talking about some football?
Yeah,
because we're coming up on it.
Yeah.
How you feel about your Raiders? What's the outlook coming up on them? Every time I turn on the television, I see something about Antonio Brown, something about his feet, something about a helmet, something about this, something about that. Are the Raiders doomed to die before the season begins?
Well, first of all, the media loves to spin their narratives, okay? They love to do that. And that's what they're doing with Antonio Brown. And you know what? I'm going to just say it. They don't want to see the Raiders win. They've never wanted to see the Raiders be a good team. Even after Al Davis has passed away, the media has always never wanted them to, has never given them any credit. Even the year when they went 14-2 or was it 14-2? Yeah, I think they went 14-2 or 12-4 or something like that. And Derek Carr was on pace to be the MVP. Like, nobody was giving that boy credit. Nobody will give him. No one gave that full credit. Nobody. So with all that,
he's a crybaby.
No, he's not. Who? Derek Carr?
Yeah. Boy.
Oh, that's a fucking lie. Get out of here. No, it's just that's how the media's always been. They've always been that way. Even if you want to look back in the 70s. Or the 60s or the 50s, during the AFL-NFL merger, Al Davis got screwed. Everyone's always been against the Raiders. It's us versus everybody. And so I'm not surprised that this is how the media is going after Antonio Brown, because now he's on the Raiders and all this stuff. But I think that it will literally be fine. He is objectively one of the best receivers in the game. Arguably the best. You can make an argument for it. You might not win the argument, but you can make an argument for it. Derek Carr is looking great in practice. The whole offense looks a lot better. The whole defense looks way better. I think we'll be fine. And with Antonio Brown, it's just they have nothing else to talk about. So, of course, they're going to hammer this home. And the Raiders and Antonio Brown are on the same page. They're on the same side. The media just wants to make it seem like, oh, it's the Raiders and the NFL versus Antonio Brown. But it's really the Raiders and Antonio Brown versus the NFL. And Antonio Brown can get a little feisty, but the Raiders have his back. They traded for him. So, I mean, they're not going to and they just paid the man, too.
So you're saying there's no smoke, there's no fire.
There's nothing. It's fine. Everyone's getting all, antsy because he hasn't been in training camp for too long and all this stuff. It's there's been so many people so many players that haven't not participated in training camp before that have come out and have just balled on the season because of that, because they're just refreshed. They're not tired. They're ready to go. I mean, I think Khalil Mack sat out for a while last year and he exploded with the Bears.
Yeah.
Same with Donald. Aaron Donald did that for a little bit, right? Yeah, I thought he sat out.
Aaron Donald has been exploding out.
No, I'm saying
he's the greatest player.
No, I'm saying
NFL.
He held out to get his deal.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, he held out for a little bit, but rightfully so.
Yeah,
the man deserves his money,
and that's what
he's gonna get paid.
And that's what I'm saying. So I don't see this as an issue. I feel like the Raiders are actually going to be good this year. Will they make playoffs? I think so. Will they go to the Super Bowl? I doubt it. But I think they're going to at least get a wild card.
Optimistic.
You have to look at just how the team is constructed, the pieces that you have, the young talent we have now. There's a lot of that to go around, and we did really good with signing undrafted free agents. We have a really good wide receiver core. I'd argue it's the best receiving core in the AFC West.
Now, I haven't read any articles, but I've seen the headlines of the Raiders GM saying Antonio Brown needs to get on board.
Yeah, that was taken out of context.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he said look, we're all in with Antonio Brown. He's got to get all in too, basically. Just saying look, we've already, the Raiders are at the point where they're like, look, we've exhausted all of our resources. We've tried everything we can to get this helmet thing done for you. Legally, we can't do it. Legally, we can't. So, we got to move on now. And that's basically what he was saying. He wasn't saying look, you're either going to buck up or you're going to get traded. Like, he didn't say that. He didn't mean it that way. What do you feel about your Rams? Blake Bortles looking pretty bad out there.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, we don't play any starters in the preseason. The preseason's just a waste of time. So, I don't know. I want to know it's about week 3.
How are you feeling about Gurley?
I feel good about Todd Gurley. Apparently, he's been hitting like 22-mile-an-hour sprints.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Gurley's a professional, man. I feel like that's something perpetuated by the media. You know, I don't want to sound like some sort of right-wing lunatic.
Yeah.
You know, who thinks it's, Raider Nation versus the world.
Okay, well, know what? It really is true.
But I do think maybe the media has perpetuated Todd Gurley's knee issues. I do think they're there. I think they're real. But do I think maybe they're as severe as they make it out to be? No.
And how are you feeling about Brandon Cooks this year? Not a lot of talk about Brandon Cooks. I had him last year in fantasy, but I
think I have him this year.
You do?
I don't know. I might. I have either him or Robert Woods. I have a bye in our first week.
You have a bye?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll have to fix that because that's not supposed to be the case.
Does anyone else have a bye?
There's one other person that has a bye, I think. But yeah, so that perfect segue into something that I was about to announce anyways. So during this fantasy football season, me, Quinn, and other ex-guests from the podcast, including my mom, my dad, Jason Harms II, Evan Alves from episode 7, I believe.
Prince Iban,
Andrew Gale, who was just on the Hot Wings Challenge, Chase Lovin, the vice president, Thomas Wheaton, who was on an NFL Talk with us. I'm forgetting everybody else. Oh, Spencer, Papa Spence. He's the only one who hasn't been on the podcast yet. Who's
the
in
GOAT
there.
Man.
There's a lot of people that are in this fantasy football league. 10-team league. We just did our draft, and I'm gonna have somebody on. I'm gonna try to have somebody on every week so we could just recap what happened during fantasy and talk about our league specifically, so you could follow along if you'd like. It's gonna be really short, maybe 10-15 minute segments, just a quick recap. That I'll just upload on Tuesdays, just to give something that you could follow along with. It's just something fun to do. I don't know, just trying to put more content out there. But yeah, so when in terms of fantasy, are you excited about your team specifically?
I think I got a good squad. I like my depth at running back. I honestly think I have the best depth out of the whole league at running back.
You have Derrick Henry, right?
I have Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Leonard Fournette, and Christian McCaffrey, and Cam Newton.
Why are you speaking like that? Jesus Christ! This ain't ASMR time. Fucking.
I'm not meaning to. I was just trying to think real hard about who's on my team without getting on my phone.
Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey. Dude, it's just hella funny.
I think I got a good squad. I feel good about it. I think I'm going to do work. I feel like I can see myself in the playoffs. I feel like as the inaugural champion of La Liga Alvarado. Yeah. I feel good about my chances to be a 2-time champion.
We'll see.
When I'm hereby declaring it publicly. If I win the championship this year, I predict I will win the championship the next year and start a dynasty.
Wow, okay.
A dynasty.
Dynasty.
A dynasty within La Liga Alvarado.
The Stockton Slappers. The dynasty. That is the Stockton Slappers.
Uniforms made.
You got to have a Nate Diaz be your profile picture. But anyways, man, I think this is all the time we got for this episode. Good luck in Hawaii. We will definitely talk to you soon.
Thank you.
You'll be on soon. I know how to do remote podcasts now, so you'll be on one of those once you get the proper equipment and all that. And is there anything you want to say to the other closers out there, the listeners, before you depart?
I don't know any of you. And the first thing I heard of you was that I was a little boring, and I didn't respond too fondly to that. I think over time we've grown. Maybe we understand each other a little bit better now. Yeah. It's been an interesting journey. I'm happy that the Closers podcast got started. I'm happy for my small role in it. And I'm excited for the future of it, and for all the future endeavors of the 1040 Collective. So
nice. Well, that's very
Adios.
sweet. And I'm excited for your endeavors. Watch out for this man's movie production company being unveiled 2022. Watch for it. But anyways, without further ado, we're going to leave. And yeah, we'll talk to you next week. We got Osti A coming on the podcast on Monday, and we will talk to him about his music, his inspirations, and what he has planned for the future and all that stuff. And we might even give you a little bit of a preview of some of his music if you want to hear it too. So yeah, we'll talk to you then. All right, take care.